Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, let's learn, or watch, and learn. My name's Connor if you're new, Walter's World. Original link to the video, top of the description, great channel. Hungary, 10 shocks of visiting Hungary. Let's go.
Tourists, when they come here to Hungary, today we're here. Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Walter's World, and today we're here in Budapest, Hungary for the 10 things that shock tourists when they come here to Hungary. And the first shock I want to talk about is one you'll have at every meal, and that is the Hungarians' love and obsession with paprika and sour cream. Look, a lot of the food you're going to have here will have peppers in it, paprika in it, sour cream in it, and some variation, because you want to have your goulash, right? Well, there's going to be paprika with that meat and then that stew. You want to have a fisherman's stew. Who knew that it could be the color red? They have that. Maybe you want to have some chicken paprikash. Yeah, it's nice little chicken with cream and paprika sauce. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of that here, and it's kind of like shocking after a while. You're like, okay, can I have like some non-paprika and cream stuff?
No.
Yes, they do have some non-paprika things, but they love the paprika here. Like, they'll even bring you out stuff to spoon into your food.
Your streets over in Europe, I feel like especially Central Europe, just look so nice and pretty and aesthetic.
If you want to have that. So that's the first thing that shocks people, just how much Hungarian cuisine really does have paprika and a lot of sour cream that pops up. Now the thing is, you can have some really good food here, so don't worry about it, but it's just kind of funny when you see it, you're like, my goodness, that's a lot of paprika. Now
So is this like a sauce that is a combination of paprika and sour cream, or is it just separately Hungary likes a lot of sour cream and paprika? You know the difference I'm trying to understand?
The thing that shocks tourists when they come here is when they want to explore Hungary, you're thinking, oh, I'm over on the east part of the country, I'll just hop down to go see something, or I'm the west part of the country, I'll just hop down, and you can't really hop down. What you have to do a lot of times, and what shocks people is a lot of your transportation, like train options, you have to come back to Budapest and then go out to somewhere else. Though you're looking at, look, I'm so close, isn't there something going from north to south?
Like a star?
Well, there is, but usually it's going to actually be a lot slower than if you actually just went back to Budapest and came out, especially with the trains. Buses, you might have better luck with it, but yeah, it's kind of funny. We're like, wow, I'm back in Budapest. I'm back at the train station. Alrighty then.
I've seen this building on a different travel video. Beautiful building. This is the like the main political building, right? Congress, Parliament. I'm not sure what you call it over there. Also, what river is this? The Danube? Also, so Budapest, Bratislava, and Vienna are all super close to each other, right? Or am I completely wrong on this? Beautiful building.
You know, so you do have that. So don't be surprised if you're like making your second home is one of the train stations here in Budapest, where you're switching trains to go back out to someplace else. Now, the third thing that shocks tourists, I'm going to focus on Budapest for the next couple of ones because it's such a popular place for tourists to go to. And that third shock is how important it is that you validate your metro ticket. Look, they have checkers in the metro here in Budapest all the time. And if you're not validating your ticket, like you buy your ticket and then you got to go validate your ticket and then you get on. And the thing is, they have all kinds of different tickets and stuff like that, and it gets like, which one am I supposed to get? Just get like the 24-hour one or 72-hour one, so you're like kind of taken care of. It's not that expensive, so you're going to be okay there, but just for the ease of mind and the peace of mind knowing that ticket person isn't going to fine you on the spot.
Currency. Is it the euro, or I know not all countries in the European Union, which I'm like 99% sure Hungary is, right? Yeah. But not all EU countries use the euro, right? I'm pausing too much already. Sorry.
Mind and the peace of mind knowing that ticket person isn't going to fine you on the spot. Because I found out the hard way. My students have found out the hard way to come here. You need to make sure you're validating their tickets, because you'll be shocked how little they care. That you're like, I didn't know that it expired. I didn't know it only goes a few stops with this ticket. Dude, just get the 24-hour, 72-hour ones. That will make your life a lot easier. Another thing that shocked me the first time I came here, and every time I come back and make sure I go back, is they actually have St. Stephen's hand here. So St. Stephen, he actually brought Christianity to Hungary, to the Magyars and stuff like that. Magyars, the Hungarians. And so they have a basilica.
Magyar sounds familiar.
for them here in Budapest. It's a gorgeous basilica. You have to go into it. They actually have concerts there sometimes you can go see at night. Amazing to see, okay? If you want to hit a mass, go to a mass there just to take it in. You might not understand the Hungarian, but you'll understand the beauty of the basilica. When you're there, if you look around, you'll actually see a case where there's a hand inside. Yes, they have St. Stephen's hand there.
Actual hand?
See him, his hand. He's still there. So it's kind of shocking. So I remember the first time I'm here, I'm like, dude, is that a hand there? Yes, it is. So that's something there. Now, the fifth thing that shocks tourists when they come.
I was imagining like a sculpture. It's a real hand, mummified hand.
To Hungary is when they realize there's.
Am I sick in the head that like the fact that it's an actual hand makes me want to see it more? Is that disturbing?
More than just Budapest here in Hungary. I mean, you have all kinds of small towns you can go to. I mean, close by you can go to Eger. I know I'm saying it wrong. You don't know why I'm saying it wrong later in the video. But you can go see the castle ruins there and see that. And
What is this? Beautiful water. Is this a giant lake, or does the river, I think it's the Danube, I could be wrong, get this wide at some point? Or is there a giant lake in Hungary?
You don't know why I'm saying it wrong later in the video. But you can go see the castle ruins there and see that, and the cute towns. You can go to Holoka, which is actually where they've kept their buildings from the last few hundred years. It's like walking back in time going there. You can go to Lake Balaton. There's all kinds of lakes that are here that you can go check out. I mean, Lake Balaton's like the biggest one around here, and you can enjoy that. I mean, there's just so much outdoor stuff to.
I just got a giant punch of happiness. It felt like a drug right there. Just hearing the birds chirping in the background of the audio and just seeing beautiful looking houses, nice grass, greenery, beautiful blue water, sailboats. It was a combination that just made me really happy.
It's like walking back in time going there. You can go to Lake Balaton. There's all kinds of lakes that are here that you can go check out. I mean, Lake Balaton's like the biggest one around here.
Lake.
And you can enjoy that. I mean, there's just so much outdoor stuff to do. There's a cave system underneath here, underneath Budapest. You can go underneath there. There's caves and water down there. Yeah, I mean, it's really kind of cool. But there's so many other things to do in Hungary that people never even think about. I mean, I know when I did my research for this, I'm thinking about places to go. I'm like, hey, there's another cute town with some cute buildings and a castle. And there's some castle ruins at this one. And you have all these things. You want to do a wine tour? You can do wine tours here too, because the wine region here is famous and it makes really good wine. So you can, have a really good time, make some wine, have some wine, and learn about Hungarian history. That's kind of a cool thing to do. And there's all these things outside of Budapest. So if you have some time, do spend at least a few days and get out of Budapest and try to see some more of the country. And speaking of that wine, the 6 things that shocks people when they come here is they've actually made some pretty good, pretty affordable wine here in Hungary. Look, you're gonna have good reds and good whites. I like the reds better. My buddy liked the whites better, but you're gonna have a lot of good wines. And like I said, you can go do the tours, you can do wine tastings, all kinds of stuff, and enjoy it at a fraction of the price you would have in other countries. So that's kind of a cool thing. Now, the 7th thing that shocks tourists when they come to Hungary is how cheap it is. And when I say cheap, I mean we're talking cheap when you're outside of Budapest. That's the key there. Inside of Budapest, it's an affordable city option. There are some pricier places, but overall, you get a really good bang for your buck. And when you leave Budapest, man, prices drop. Eating, drinking, making merry, accommodation, sites, transportation. It is all super affordable when you come here, which shocks a lot of tourists. We're like, wait, I'm right by Vienna where it's kind of pricey or other places. How is this? Well, it is. Just enjoy it while you can when you have affordable prices here. And a lot of tourists get very excited by that because like, now I can have a really good time here. I've seen tons of backpackers here in Hungary traveling around, a lot of bachelor parties and stuff like that here.
It looks fantastic. Also, any country in Central Europe like Hungary is going to have a lot of history. So I love learning about history, and so I definitely would that'd be on the top of my to-do list in any
Budapest,
European country.
You get a lot of bang for your buck when you too come here to Hungary. So that's really cool. Something else that might shock tourists about the money though is they don't use the euro here. They have their own currency, the Hungarian forint, which is about 300 to 1 to the dollar, 300 to 1 to the euro, around about there. I mean, it's kind of complicated sometimes. You're like, wait, 300 to 1, what do I need to do here? And that can throw some people off. So do be careful because it's not always, not everyone is, let's see. on the up and up when it comes to exchanging money. So what you need to think about is when you're here is do take care. Now, some places will take euros, okay? They'll be happy to take your euros. You might not get the best exchange rate, but at least they'll take euros. So there is that, but not everywhere does, okay? So make sure you do get some foreigns out. Also, not every place will take credit cards, so you need to have some cash around, especially when you get outside of Budapest. Having foreigns is vital. And the thing is when you go to the ATMs here, they're going to offer you like to take out like 100,000 foreigns, which you don't need. That's like a lot, like 400,000 foreigns. You're like, wait a minute, how much money do I really need here? You need to pay attention when you go to the ATM and have an idea of how much you want to get. So if you want to take out $200, figure out what that.
So 300,000 would be about $300, or no, would be about $1,000.
It is before you go to the ATM. So when you get up there, you can push other amount because they're going to offer you like insanely high amounts. Just say other amount and then put what you in and get that. And whatever you do, never, ever, ever take their conversion. When they say, oh, we can put this into euros for you or dollars, so you already are guaranteed this exchange rate, don't do that. You will always lose, okay? And we're talking 5, 10, 20% of your money gone because of that. So do have a heads up for that. Also, the exchange houses around here, some may offer zero commission, some might not. Just do your research to see which one's the best one, because just because it says zero commission doesn't mean they're giving you a good exchange rate. So sometimes it's better to pay that commission and then get a better exchange rate than it is to get no commission and a bad exchange rate. So do have a heads up for that. And I guess the whole ATM thing and money kind of thing gets you kind of into thinking about, like, is there anything like I need to be concerned about, any shocking kind of things when I'm here? Honestly, I've been coming here for 20 years and I've seen some really great differences in the country and how they treat people and treat tourists and how it's all set up, which has been fantastic. But there's one thing that still shocks when I come here, and that is the taxis here. My goodness, your taxi driver will probably somehow try to rip you off, or they will try to, you know, make some more money out of you, or they'll be like, oh, we don't know if it will go there. Look, not all taxi drivers are bad, okay? I'm not trying to say that, but you'll see tons and tons of stories of taxi drivers taking advantage of tourists when you're here.
It is a business where a lot of tourists are going to need to interact with, and therefore you're going to be more prone to being ripped off. I understand the reasoning. It's not like you're saying taxi drivers are uniquely really trying to rip off people. It's just, it's a service that a lot of tourists are going to want to go to. And so it's something you have to keep in mind. I understand.
Here, you know, getting to the train station, you got no other options to get into town or where you want to go. You don't know where to go because the language and stuff like that, or how to explain it. And they're like, oh, that's 20 euros. I'm like, 20 euros? It's like 4. Like, there's no way. Well, if you don't want that, then you're going to have to go with somebody else. And you're like, well, there's no other option. So you do have these kind of things. So what I do recommend, if you're going to be coming in, like you're flying in or you're doing stuff, talk to your hotel about arranging transportation to save yourself the hassle of it all. Also, what I also do recommend is if you're in Budapest and place like that, get a taxi app so you can just call your taxi that way. Because if you've got a taxi company, usually you're going to be fine. It's the freelance taxis that sometimes have a little bit more of the issues, so do have a heads up for that. Because if you try to discuss with the taxi drivers, they might not speak too much English, and trying to know Hungarian is impossible. And that's our next
So it's a Uralic language, right? It's not a Slavic language. It's not a Germanic language. It's not a Romance language. It's a Uralic, right? Which Finnish is also. And so the fact that they're not insanely far away, but pretty far away from each other, and they're the only two with that language type, is fascinating. And something I definitely want to learn more about.
Shock when we come here is how much you will not understand the language when you are here. You know, when you travel around, like maybe your high school French will help you read a menu in Spain, and your high school Spanish will help you in Portugal. Oh no, here no language you learn will help you at all.
Biztonsagi Sol Galat. I'm sorry.
Hungarian is like in its own language group way over here that people are like, man, where does this even come from? Like, what's with all these consonants? I'm kind of confused here. Yeah, the language here is insane, all right? You will not get it. You will not understand it. I know I walk by some tourists.
Oh my God. Hirlep Sorshegi. What? Kozla Kedisi. Befizetes. God.
And they're like, man, that Hungarian language. When I hear people talk it, I think they're drunk because it just sounds like wah 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 wah. And it's funny because the tourists are like, we're so lost. And the thing is, the Hungarians know that, and that what's cool and what might shock you is tons.
I just say, freaking beautiful. So many of the images I've seen here, just absolutely stunning, and every part of it, like every part of it, is just very, very nice looking.
People speak English here. Under 40, yeah, they're probably going to speak some English. If they're in tourism, they definitely will speak English. So that's really kind of a cool thing. So you don't have to worry that you don't speak the language, but it's just one of those things that it shocks you, like how impossible it is, because you really can't decipher a lot lot of things. But if you want to know a few words, like servus is like hi. I know I'm butchering it, but it's close enough. Servus is hi. And then nusinum is thank you. Nusinum. And I know I'm not saying it perfectly. And the locals here, when I've said it, they're like, oh, thanks, man, no problem. I'm like, did I say it right? They're like, yeah, you're close enough. And so at least if you try, they'll be like happy for that, because they know ain't no tourists learning Hungarian before they come here. And the 10th thing that shocks tourists when they come here is how beautiful the women are here. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen many a tourist turn their head watching some of the Hungarian beauties walk by. Male and female tourists appreciating the beauty of the women here. I mean, they are really gorgeous. And the guys aren't bad either. Don't get me wrong. So ladies, if you're coming here, or guys that like guys, hey, you know, they got some good looking guys here too. But you know how some countries the men are better looking than the women, or the women are better looking than men. This is one of those countries where the women are just gorgeous. So try not to gawk when you're here, because you're like, oh, that's a beautiful person, and that's a beautiful person. Oh my. Look, just be ready for that. And the people are really proud of how beautiful the women are.
So just don't stare into the soul of every person walking by. Got it.
When I talk to the locals, they've brought it up again and again. Have you noticed how beautiful our women are? I'm like, well, I'm married to one of the most beautiful women in the world, so I don't really mind. It's okay. And they're like, yeah, but you can appreciate how beautiful they are. I'm like, yes, women are very beautiful here. So there is that. Another thing that, like, that's something that Hungarians really take pride in. Another thing that
that's great.
I guess I'll give you another shock. That's another kind of totally other kind of thing. Another shock that you might not know about Hungary is actually Hungary lost 2/3 of its landmass after World War I. So like there's 1/3 of Hungary here, and 2/3 is spread out in other countries. So you'll have other countries like Romania, where there's a huge Hungarian population.
Serbia, maybe Austria, Slovakia. What other countries? Does Poland border? Does Poland border Hungary, or is Slovakia wedged between them?
And there's sometimes some issues with that, because people are like, hey, that was Hungarian and now it's Romanian, and you have these kind of these ties people have.
I just watched a video about, I'm assuming that's why I eventually was recommended this one, is because I watched a video about the territorial evolution of Hungary, and so I am a little bit aware of this, right?
It can be a touchy subject. So if you don't know much about the Treaty of Trianon, I know, again, I'm butchering the names today. I'm sorry. I'm sick when I'm filming this, so my brain isn't working right. If you don't know a lot about the treaty, that really did. I mean, it sliced up this country, and there's a lot of it in other places, and for a lot of Hungarians, it's still kind of an issue. And so maybe don't bring it up. And I know a lot of my Hungarian fans have wrote us and say, hey, yeah, could you mention this, but don't tell them not to really talk about it. So when you're like, why are there all these Hungarians in Romania? Why are they part of Hungary? Well, now you know why, okay? So I hope these shocks help you be more prepared for coming to Hungary. And if you're just coming to Budapest, you have a great time here. We've got tons of videos on Budapest, mistakes people make, the don'ts you want to make sure you don't do when you're here, 5 things you love and hate about it as well. From 10 years ago, I filmed. This is one of my old filming locations. I've been coming here for a while. Check us out on our website at waltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest. Yeah, all those social media things at Walters World. And we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions. If you like fun culture videos like this and travel videos like this, honest travel videos that give you advice that you can actually use and learn from, do hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you'll get all of our new videos in your feed. And we put out new travel videos every Wednesday and Saturday, so we can help other travelers just like you. So thank you for watching. Give us a like, and a special thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. If you want to find out how you can help support us, keep making these honest travel videos, go to patreon.com/waltersworld to find out how. And I'll say bye from Budapest, and I apologize to all my Hungarian friends. My nose is dying, my throat is dying. I've been having a little bit too much fun when I've been here, and it's finally caught up to me. So thank you for a great country and a great time. Bye from Budapest.
Okay. First of all, freaking beautiful country. Okay, I know my entirety of my exposure to the country is through YouTube videos like this, but I can't ignore it. It's very beautiful. Also, the language is a fascinating thing, and also Romanian is, I believe, a Romance language, and yet it's not connected to the other Romance language countries like Italy and France and Spain. And you're also not connected to, and Hungary isn't connected to the other Uralic language. If any of the stuff I'm saying here is wrong, please call me out and correct me. Please, you guys are great with that. Separated from the other Uralic language country of Finland. Some weird stuff going on there that I'm sure has a lot of interesting stuff behind it and reasoning for it. So that'd be really cool to learn about. And yeah, obviously the touchy subject at the end there, that's understandable. Great video. Love y'all. Hope you guys are all doing well. And hopefully I'll see you guys next time. We'll keep on learning. Bye, guys.